Hey guys, so today I'm going to be talking about my thoughts on the season premieres of Doctor Who. So this video is only going to be about the modern series because I feel like if I did the classic series, I'd be here all day. So, this is all about the modern series, first episodes of the new seasons, um, giving my thoughts on those, and I'm basically doing this because the new season's out. So, that's the idea for this video. Okay, let's get going with season one. Started off with Rose. I think this is a good introductory episode for new fans of the show because it's the first episode in 16 years. Not counting the TV movie, of course. Um, Eccleston is great here. Billy Piper's good as Rose. It's a little too silly though with the trash machine and the fake Mickey and stuff like that. But I think Eccleston does a really good performance, and it's a great reintroduction to the world of Doctor Who. I also like how they recreated the Arton scene from Spearhead from Space and them climbing out of the glass. Um, so yeah, I like to focus on Rose as a character because a lot of times in classic Who you don't really focus much on the companions' personal lives, but this show does. So I think it's great. Okay, moving on to season two, which is also getting a C. This is New Earth. I think it's a good way of starting off the second season. This is like the 10th Doctor's second episode, but it's his first one on a different planet, like in a new adventure, not present day Earth. So it kind of shows how him and Rose get on and how their dynamic is different from her dynamic with the Ninth Doctor. Uh, kind of like Rose, a little too silly with the whole Cassandra, you know, taking over their bodies thing. It's funny though, and I like the whole cat nurses and the whole like allegory of the healthcare system. So I think that was pretty good too. Moving on to season three, we have Smith and Jones, which I think is a pretty good episode. We meet Martha, who's one of my favorite companions, and the Jadoon, who are very good villains. And the whole like taking the hospital and straining it on the moon and then running out of oxygen, that's a really good idea. Hasn't been done before, I don't think. And creepy old lady sucking people's blood is, campy, but also kind of horrifying, which I think Russell does a good job at. Moving on to season four, we have Partners in Crime. So this is the return of Donna Noble, and when she becomes a full-time companion instead of just a guest star. So the episode, the episode's kind of from her perspective, and it's about her realizing her life has become kind of dull since she met the doctor. So she kind of seeks him out by investigating this company which sells these weight loss pills, but really it just turns the fat in your body into a little creepy like CGI thing. It's great. It's a great episode. Makes fun of all those grifters who talk about like best ways to remove fat by taking these pills that don't work. I don't know. I think it's great. It's when Doctor Who does political allegory in a really good way. Moving on to season five, we have The 11th Hour, which is the first episode that features Matt Smith. This is my favorite premiere of all of Doctor Who. Um, it establishes Amy as a character in a really good way. You like her immediately. Um, Even if you don't agree with all the things he does. Honestly, it seems very human, and Matt Smith is on fire for this episode. Considering it's the first episode, like he already seems like the Doctor. That scene where he goes head to head with Prisoner Zero, and he's like, "Hello, I'm the Doctor." It's great. It's one of my favorite Matt Smith scenes. It also kind of introduces the season's plotline really well. Moving on to season six, we have The Impossible Astronaut. So this one's a good episode too. It's kind of, I don't know, I love it. Like it's set in the '60s. It's about the doctor gets shot by this mysterious astronaut, and the companions kind of have to deal with the aftermath. And then introduces the Silence, who are very original and creepy villain. Or like if you look away from them, you forget about them, which makes it very hard to defeat. River Song's great in this episode. Amy and Roy are great. All in all, a great episode of the show. And it sets up the whole season's mystery in a really exciting way. Moving on to season seven, we have Asylum of the Daleks. This gets a B. I think what I've noticed from making this list is that Matt Smith had the best premieres. So this is a pretty good Dalek story. A lot of times the Daleks are used; they're not really used in an effective way. But I think in this one, they're actually pretty threatening. I like the whole plot. where like Oz and Oswald, one of Clara's echoes. She doesn't know that she's a Dalek. Turns out she's been turned into a Dalek. Devastating twist, and it kind of sets up like the whole Clara, who's Clara arc in season 7. And the only problem I have with it is like, why do the Daleks have an asylum when they just exterminate the Daleks? But other than that, it's a really good, strong premiere off to a pretty underrated season, to be honest. Moving on, we have Deep Breath, which is the first episode to feature Peter Capaldi. I like this one. I like how it takes Clara a long time to get used to the new Doctor, uh, and the drama that goes between them. I like the Paternoster gang with Faster and Strax and Jenny. I like the return of the Clockwork Droids from the Girl in the Fireplace. A lot of things work here, and I don't know. I think Capaldi does a really strong performance. I like the scene where he like the talking and he looks at her and he says, "You look at me, but you don't see me." That's such a that's such a great scene between the two of them, and it shows like the unique dynamic he has between 12 and Clara, which is one of my favorite pairings in all of the show's history. Moving on to season 9, we have The Magician's Apprentice. So this starts off season 9 with a bang. I remember watching this one and the day it came out, and I loved it. We go back to Skaro. Davos is in it, and the Doctor has to decide whether or not to save Davos. It's kind of like a repeat of Genesis of the Daleks, but on like a grander scale. It's like Genesis of the Daleks. It's kind of cool. Missy's in this, and Ho and Clara have such a good chemistry. Like these, you know, these adversaries who both care about the Doctor, so they work together. Um, I don't know. They're so good together. They're so funny. Like the scene where like she pushes Clara down that hole. It's a lot of funny moments in this episode. Um, so yeah, very strong opener to a very strong season. Moving on to season 10, we have the pilot. So this is the introduction of Bill, and I think Bill's a great character. I think she's well developed in this episode. We really get a sense of who Bill is as a person, and the whole puddle, the whole puddle plot is pretty cool because you don't really know. I mean, at least I didn't really see where it was going, and I don't know. The relationship she has with Havel is really sweet and a little bit tragic because her girlfriend turned into a puddle. But I don't know. I think it's a good introduction to Bill, and it shows the Doctor still kind of grieving from the loss of River Song too. So I don't know. A lot of things work in this episode. Moving on to season 11, which is Jodie Whittaker's first episode, The Woman Who Fell to Earth. This is getting a C minus. It's actually pretty good by Jodie Whittaker standards. She's not like her era isn't the best. I think she's a good Doctor, and I think she does good performance on the first episode, and I think the companions are pretty good. But in retrospect, like though they have good chemistry here, but the fact that Chris Chibnall doesn't do anything with that, like he doesn't really give them much of a storyline throughout the series, falters. But I think episode 1 is okay. The plot's a bit simplistic, but it doesn't need to be too complicated. Um, and yeah, I don't have much to say about this one because not much happened in it, but it wasn't bad. Speaking of bad, we have Spyfall Part 1, which I don't know. It's okay. It's not that good. We have a little James Bond caper here, and I think some of the action scenes are pretty good. Some of the chase scenes, and Jodie Whittaker feels more comfortable in the role of the Doctor. The companions still don't get to do much. Stephen Fry shows up for 2 seconds, but doesn't really contribute to the plot at all. And the whole twist that the Master's back is like, yay, I guess, but also kind of ruins Missy's ending. So in my head, I don't care what people say. I think that he came before Missy. And yeah, so let's see what happened then. Oh, the Halloween apocalypse. Yeah, this is the start to a very disastrous season. Um, we meet Dan. I like Dan, but he doesn't really get much of a character here. He's just kind of a walking blank slate like the rest of the companions. And Flux's main problem is they have so many plot lines, but they don't pay any attention to either of them, so it just feels like this big jumbled mess. And that's kind of apparent right from the get-go because you meet like all these characters, and it's hard to keep track of them. And none of them have like good arcs or resolutions. So yeah, season 13 is kind of a disaster. Flux isn't the best season, but yeah, it's still not the worst because the worst is the new season premiere, Space Babies. So yeah, I don't know what else I was thinking with this one. It looks very, it's very campy, but not in a good way. It's too campy. Doesn't strike that balance. Too many toilet humor, fault jokes, burgle jokes. I don't know. Seems like the episode was written by a 5-year-old. Um, yeah, not a fan of that one either. Might grow on me over time, but I highly doubt that. So yeah, this is my ranking of all the season premieres of Doctor Who. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think I'm a little biased because I like Matt Smith a lot? Or do you think Space Baby's the best episode ever? Let me know down in the comments below, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Peace.